You're listening to the Art of Making Home podcast with Sandro Stefanucci of Abstract Homes. He is a builder with over 37 years of experience in the industry. This series shows you the construction industry from the contractor's perspective. In addition, we will be discussing challenges that we have encountered and what other industry professionals can learn from those stories. We'll be covering such topics that many people do not consider before building, like what your property can allow. Is your property located on a steep hill? What will your municipality enable you to construct? It might not be as cut and dry as you think. So let's get the conversation started.
Hello, beautiful people. It's Sandro Stefanucci, and today I am here with Matt Kokai from Precision Gas and Mechanical. But before we get started talking about heating and cooling systems, I would like to read from Proverbs 1, verse 7, and this is advice to the young. To have knowledge, you must first have reverence for the Lord. Stupid people have no respect for wisdom and refuse to learn. My child, pay attention to what your father and mother tell you. Their teaching will improve your character. On that note, we were talking about heating and cooling systems, and Matt Kokai is a pro at these systems. Matt's very versed in the rebates set, so I know a lot of people are going to be looking at doing that. They're hearing some federally and locally. So this is Vancouver, so Matt knows Vancouver really well. I don't know. People will have to check their own municipalities for the rebates they have there. It could be Richmond, they could be a little bit different. I don't know. Federally, it will be probably pretty much the same deal with the rebates on that. So in talking about the heating and cooling systems, I'm going to let Matt maybe expand a bit more on these different systems that we have. Hey, Matt, welcome to the show. Maybe introduce yourself and your background and just get us up to speed with what you do.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, I'm Matt Kokai with Precision Gas and Mechanical. North Vancouver guy and in the HVAC industry here since 2006. I've seen it change. I've been there. I've done that. Now we've got all the new rebates that are coming in are for obviously changing from fossil fuels to a renewable or an electric heat source for your house. So heat pumps are the way of the future here in the Lower Mainland. And yeah, the rebates right now, there's lots of them. There's the federal and there's also the hydro rebate. Tons of money up for grabs for the rebates and loans involved in it as well. I mean, so there's tons of incentives the government is pushing to go that way with changing off of fossil fuels being the main driver. If you switch to heat pump, but you still have a backup furnace on fossil fuels, you don't qualify. There's all kinds of qualifications. So you have to make sure you qualify and read through those rebate applications. But basically, if you're a homeowner and you live in your home, you basically qualify. And if you're switching from natural gas, you qualify for the higher rebates. So if you have existing gas and you switch to electric, then the rebates are higher. Now, heat pumps are sort of a new way of heating here in BC. It's something that not everybody is well versed in, especially your, regular homeowner. And so it can be easy to get into a situation where you're putting in the wrong unit or whatever. So it's really important to have somebody that is experienced in the heat pump industry to properly size and quote the job. One thing to look out for is definitely people that are, trying to sell you the cheapest kind of possible unit, because there are cheaper brands out there that will meet the rebates but don't really meet homeowners' expectations, let's say. You got to really kind of do your research on that. There's a lot of good brands out there, but there's also a lot of bad brands. So You have to stick to the right ones.
So we're really kind of focused on the rebate program here. So let's stick to what's available for the rebate or the rebates themselves.
Dual fuel is available. There's dual fuel rebates available, but only up to about $4,000 versus if you go all electric, you qualify for up to $18,000. I think it's $12,000 basically for the two rebates. And then, so 6 on the federal, 6 on the provincial, and then you get your municipal top up. So you have to check with the website BC Better Homes, and then check your municipality top up. And right now in Vancouver, they have an extra 6,000, so it's total of 18.
Right. When you mean dual fuel, are you talking natural gas and electrification?
Yeah, it's retaining your old furnace or putting a new gas furnace in as a backup source. Because heat pumps, they can tend to derate with colder climates. So we tend to now only install cold climate rated heat pumps, even in Vancouver, where the climate's not extremely cold, but it's because it sort of meets our clients' needs better because it blows warmer air. It does, colder temperatures. If it does get to the minus 20, then you're still okay, and versus some other heat pumps, they sort of shut down around, -5, -10, and you're hooped, right? You got to go to a backup source of fuel, which can either be gas or electric.
A lot of people don't understand that. Well, first of all, you talked about the cold climate heat pumps that we're putting in. As far as I remember, and we talked about this, that those are the only ones that are available for rebates, correct?
No, that's not 100% true. The cold climate rated ones qualify for a slightly higher rebate. The other ones still qualify for the rebate. But the cold climate is just really so that it saves the added cost of running a backup coil for electric and having to have your electrical panel upgraded.
I think in any success of a job, regardless if it's a renovation or you're adding a system like this particular one that Matt and I are working on right now, there has to be a 200 amp service upgrade because it doesn't support it, because there was massive renovation done on this thing about 15 years ago. They've added a whole bunch of circuits to the job. It's not enough, so we have to upgrade it. So there's costs that way. But for me, as a contractor, builder, and renovator, there was things that the clients wanted to do. So they contacted me because it was a referral from another job that we had done. And then we talked briefly about it, and they were telling me, that whoever did the renovation before they bought the home, they had added a third floor to it. They just had electric baseboards upstairs. It was hotter than a firecracker there in the summertime, and I said, why don't you, there's some good rebates going on right now with that. Why don't you think about putting a heat pump in there and we can work with the system? And basement was really low. So I contacted Matt. Matt's a pro and we've been working together for a while. An electrician that I work with as well was on site too. So basically I'm the orchestrator in the whole thing. And I think it's critical for anybody doing a renovation, adding a heat pump and cooling system, because it's not just as straight as a mechanical guy going in there, because then he's got to go get an electrician to do it. Then he might have a carpenter, because we got to do some carpentry work in order to get the systems in, drill holes, cut drywall, run these different systems in. So it's really critical that you have all the components of that job done correctly.
It's just night and day. Like, let me tell you, when we don't work with somebody like Sandro, you don't understand how much extra work it is on us. And just to try and do a good job, because we always want to do a good job. But when Sandro's there, it makes it much, much easier on us. He's got everything dialed in. Things just go so much smoother. It makes it a lot easier on us. We like to make sure we pay attention to detail, to all the little things. There's all kinds of things on Sandro's end that he has to take care of. Like, he takes care of all the site protection and the little labor stuff that has to go on. When we come in, it's all taken care of. And as professional HVAC guys or plumbers or electricians, we want to come in there and do that work. We don't really want to try and mess with drywall or this or that. It's so much nicer when it's just all been taken care of and the job's just done so much better. There's
a list of contractors like yourself that are qualified for the rebate program, correct?
That's right. Yeah. You have to be qualified and you prove that you've done all the schooling and you have 5 million liability, that you have WCB. They also make you take extra courses that are all about retrofitting in the Lower Mainland and all this kind of stuff. What kind of units to be putting in and all of that. And the city of Vancouver, on top of that, even has its own course that they make you take, which I'm also qualified in, that they have their own list on the city of Vancouver website as well for qualified heat pump installers that are qualified to get permits in the city of Vancouver. So It made it a little harder to install, but they really narrowed the pool down to the installers that know what they're doing. So that's something that's good in the long run, but may cause some availability issues. You may be hard to find a guy that has time to do it.
So people in Vancouver here, which we haven't talked about yet, is the fact that you have to have an energy advisor do an energy audit on your home before you do anything if you want to apply for the rebates, because this energy assessment needs to get done, do a blower door test, and there's actually ones that are qualified as well to do that. Right, Matt?
So that's right. Yeah. If you want to qualify for the federal rebate and the loan, there's a $40,000 loan, 10-year interest free as well, that the federal side is giving out. If you want to qualify for all of that, the first thing you need to do is get an energy advisor to look at the house. And what the energy advisor is, essentially someone that's third party, that's qualified in all the energy of the homes and everything. And they are going in there and they take an assessment of, yes, they have gas as their heating source. Yes, essentially prevents any sort of people trying to run a scam or something, right? Saying that, yes, they had this done and that they didn't have a heat pump before and now they have one at the end. And this is the upgrade. They actually measure how much less fuel you use and everything and calculate it and print it out. It's pretty cool what they do. And then that also gets credited back to you with the rebates. The money you spend on the advisor is credited back.
I know it can get very complicated, and the energy advisor we have also helps customers, because it can be a little bit complicated in the site, and especially when something's new with federal governments, you know what it's like. It's a bit of a pain to navigate around that. So with Matt and with the energy advisor, they can help the customer deal with that and get the rebate and how to fill the form out correctly. Thanks, Matt, for joining us today on our podcast on heating and cooling systems and the rebates. Say anybody that is looking for, a cooling or heating system, you can call us here at Abstract, and you can also call Matt Kokai at Precision Gas and Mechanical, and he can give you more information on that.
If you want more information, let Sandro or I know, and we can sort of figure out what the best solution for your home would be.
For me, it's encouragement to seek, professionals. So whoever it is, if it's not us, whatever, we're not here to sell ourselves, but we're just here to inform people, and definitely make sure that you have all the professional guys you need when you're going to assess whether or not you want to do a system or not, or how to do a system, or those kinds of things. It's really important to have the professionals help you and guide you along that path for sure. So I encourage you guys to subscribe to the podcast. So good talking to you guys again, or for us talking to you. And we'll be talking more about these types of things, I think, in the upcoming podcast. I think it's something that's on people's minds, and the energy retrofits in general, I think. So we'll be touching a little bit more on that. So thanks again, guys, for listening. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of The Art of Making Home with Sandro Stefanucci from Abstract Homes. Make sure you keep following every episode to learn his advice about the building industry here in the Lower Mainland. He will have great tips on following episodes when it comes to building or renovating your home. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and of course, Apple Podcasts, so you don't miss his latest construction advice. If you want more information on Abstract Homes, all you have to do is go to their website, abstracthomes.com. Talk to you next time.